Hello there and welcome to my channel. Hopefully the audio is working because I've been having some technical difficulties. So today's video, I decided that I was going to talk about how I just have issues with doing everything that I want to do, and also with things that I need to do, and I don't know why. Well, technically I do, because like I said in my last video, I had like a couple of weeks ago, I had like an interview with my assessor who I'm going to meet this Wednesday, hopefully, if everything goes well, and get my assessment. And then eventually I will have my diagnosis. So I'm going to be getting tested for autism and ADHD, which at first I didn't think that I had ADHD, but now that she brought it up, I have accepted the fact that I most likely have ADHD and autism. And one of the reasons why is because my therapist also brought it up, and I think I mentioned this in the previous video as well. And it's annoying. I'm gonna try not to cry in this video because I feel like I'm constantly at battle with myself all the time. I don't know if you guys can hear my stomach, but it really growled loudly just now. And I'm not hungry. I literally just ate like a few minutes ago. I also even had a snack and some fruit, so I don't know what my stomach is doing right now. But anyway, like I was saying, I believe that my ADHD has really I don't want to say ruined, but just has made a lot of things extremely hard that I didn't have as much of an issue with when I was younger. I think that it was easier for me to kind of hyperfixate on certain things, like books, for instance, and I didn't look at it as like a hyperfixation at the time, but I remember being really bored when I was younger and wanting to have like an outlet. And I've always been, I feel like, really good at trying to find healthy outlets and ways to cope with things versus doing something that could be detrimental to my mental or physical health, which I'm not going to say I do it all the time, but like I have my moments definitely. But for the most part, I do try to find like healthy things to kind of deal with the issues that I'm having. So recently, the reason why I decided to make this video is because I've been trying to make a video for a while. I filmed a couple of different videos so far. I'm not even sure how many I've recorded and deleted a lot of them because I just couldn't stay on track. Another thing is like some of the videos that I was thinking about creating and was in the process of creating didn't really go very well because I have been having issues with reading. And as you know, my username is Bookish and the Real, which basically means that I will be talking about books and movies and TV shows. And I also would like to talk about like personal things that I struggle with, which has to do with like lifestyle. So that is something that I do want to be a part of my channel. And I guess for now, you guys are going to get the lifestyle part of it. I am going to try to film a book review soon. So hopefully that goes well because I did actually read a book. I tried to film like a vlog, a reading vlog, and it didn't go very well. It was on a book that I've been wanting to read for a couple of weeks now, and I finally was able to because Amazon basically gives like some advertisements where they'll have like Kindle Unlimited for $0 for like 2 months, I think is what it is now. And so I just created like a different account so that I could use Kindle Unlimited to read the book that was being released. And then there's another book that was released the 19th that I do want to get around to reading. However, I just got a bunch of books from the library not too long ago. I think I checked out about 13 or 14 books. I also have books in my Libby library, and I have not touched a one of them. None of them. Well, technically, I have touched one. Um, that sounds very weird, but I picked up one of the books and it was The Friend Zone by Abby Jimenez, which is probably one of the first ones that I will be able to finish at some point. So I think once I finally get this new release that came out on the 19th finished, I will then try to read The Friend Zone, because I think that's like the beginning in another series of hers. She usually comes out with like three different like a series with three different books in the same universe. All of them can be read as like standalones, but I want to try to read them in order this time because I read the other books out of order. I think I read Just for the Summer first, and then I read A Part of Your World. And I think the last book in that trilogy is Yours Truly, and I haven't gotten around to reading it yet. I'm sure that I probably just went on a tangent about that, even though that is related to partially what I'm talking about now. But I feel like I am constantly trying to give myself grace, because I know that I do struggle a lot with things that I want to do. And I think that's also how I've kind of realized that I'm not lazy, how people would probably try to define me as, because I struggle a lot with doing things that I actually want to do. I talked to my therapist about this, but I feel like on some level she doesn't really get it. And also I think the fact that I'm missing that ADHD diagnosis is part of the issue. I don't even know if my therapist actually specializes in ADHD. I know she deals with anxiety, so I'll have to like ask her about that at some point in time. But we have been going over perfectionism. I do know that perfectionism is something that I do deal with a lot, because I am always wanting to do something, like start off with doing something perfect, even though I know that logically I won't, because if it's something that I haven't done before, I know that it's obviously not going to be perfect the first time, or the second, or the third, or however many times it's going to take me to get to perfection. Um, but for whatever reason, which is where the ADHD comes in, is I constantly am like beating myself over the head, not literally, but just upset because I can't do something, and I just get frustrated. I also was thinking about how um, I had signed up like years ago, and I don't even remember how long it's been since I've signed up, because I did take like a yoga teacher training during the pandemic, as I'm sure like a lot of people did, because I really did connect with yoga a lot before the pandemic. That was like one of the things that really got me through when I got sick a couple of years ago. And I realized that I might want to teach yoga. And so that's one of the reasons why I took the yoga teacher training. However, it didn't really work out the way that I expected it to. I thought that, eventually I would be able to film some videos, and I'm considering that I might try to do that now. Not necessarily film videos, but go over the material, because once you pay for the classes, the course itself, um, you have access to it for a lifetime. So I never fully completed it. I'm at like 98% completed, and it's been that way for a couple of years now. And I did complete the Yin Yoga course to become like a Yin Yoga teacher, so I could teach technically Yin Yoga. However, I really wanted that 200-hour yoga teacher training under my belt before I officially started trying to teach people. But I also struggle with teaching as well, because you have to sit down, you have to plan how you're going to do these classes. You can't just really go, I mean, you could go into it completely blind, but I am one of those people who like to be prepared in every way before I do things. But I also notice that once I'm in it, that prep ends up messing up my performance, if that makes any sense, which is why I feel like I probably don't script a lot. If I'm kind of unaware of it in some way, like if it's not something that I know, like scripting is obviously something that you plan to do, But if I'm doing it in a way that it doesn't seem like a plan, I can kind of script. Usually I'll do it when I'm like doing phone calls or something, but if it's like I'm going out with someone, I won't look at it as scripting. I think for a while I just probably thought that that's what people did, but it's not all the time. I think most people just kind of go with the flow. They're not like thinking about what topics they're going to talk about when they go out with people, especially like with people that they know. Um, but yeah, I've just been thinking a lot lately about how I've been wanting to do certain things, and then I get to a point where I get really upset. And I think when I went to the doctor before, um, the doctor would basically tell me, like, oh, well, you're depressed. Like, that's what, like you're losing your interest in all of your hobbies and all the things that you like to do is because you're depressed, and we can put you on medication and yada, yada, yada. Which I refused to go on medication for years before I finally got to a boiling point where I actually really needed to go on medication, or things were just going to get really bad. So I did do the medication, I did get better, and now I'm starting to realize that a lot of like the depression episodes that I feel like I'm having is probably just me being frustrated with the inability to do certain things. And I noticed that a lot of things I'm only able to do under pressure versus, just getting up and doing it. Or I'll need some other element to kind of help me. So, like earlier, I was cooking today and I had to listen to music. Um, and then I'll also like watch reaction videos or just YouTube videos of people um, going about their daily lives and things like that. And that will help me with focusing on cooking because I have something in the background. Not really sure why that works or what the science of that is. Because even though I am doing my research, I'm still not 100% clear, I feel like, on certain things and how to I'm learning how to um, find ways to, how do I want to word this? I'm learning how to um, remedy the issue that I'm having. And that's one of the issues that I typically have. But sometimes it doesn't always work. Just like with my reading, there's certain books that I really want to get into. Like I wanted to be able to read all these books before I had to return them back to the library. But the likelihood of that happening before the first is very low. It's very low, especially since a lot of the books are they're massive. So if I was able to finish them all before the first, I would be surprised. I don't think it's going to happen. I don't have that much time left, maybe about a week, I think. I'm going to try if I can get to this one book. But again, even with the book that I want to read that was recently released, I'm having trouble with picking up. So I don't know if I made any bit of sense in this video. I feel like I probably made more sense in this video than the other videos that I've previously filmed because I went into it trying to plan out the video. And usually when I do things spontaneously, when it comes to certain things, I need to do it spontaneously or it just won't work out well. And that's something that I've also noticed. Like as much as I try to plan things and as much as I want things to go according to plan, if they aren't also going according to plan in the way that I expected, I get really frustrated instead of just going with the flow. So yeah, I'm learning a lot about myself. Hopefully, you know, by Wednesday, or not by Wednesday because she's not going to diagnose me that quickly. Probably, I'm assuming that it'll probably be like a couple of days or close to a week before I get like officially diagnosed with anything, or not. I mean, I feel like I will be shocked if I'm not diagnosed with anything. I feel like I'm having a lot of imposter syndrome before, um, like the appointment date is quickly approaching, and now I'm having a lot of imposter syndrome, wondering if I'm going to pass these tests. And if I don't pass them, how am I going to navigate life? Because life is just getting incredibly harder, with the limitations that I have due to, like, my disabilities. And so I'm hoping that I can get a diagnosis, and if not, figure out what is actually going on with me. I'm pretty confident that I do have ADHD at this point in time. But again, like I said, the imposter syndrome, I think, is something that I'm probably going to experience for a long time before I finally just accept it. And I'm hoping that also getting this diagnosis, maybe that will help with my imposter syndrome. But I feel like I also just know that it won't. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoy watching this video. I'm gonna upload this like right after I finish filming. And yeah, anyway, I will see you guys in the next video, hopefully soon. Yeah, peace.